Hello, everyone. I'm Randall Carlisle, and I'm excited to introduce you to Blake Christian. He is the founder of MIT Modular. So, what is MIT Modular? Listen to this. It's a company that turns shipping containers into livable units, housing units even. And Blake, the reason I'm excited to introduce him is he's so multi-talented. He's a CPA, he's an author, a well-known public speaker, and he is probably one of the leading authorities on opportunity zones. I'm excited about this because I think it's an idea that could really help change or shape society and some of the problems we're facing. So I hope you enjoyed this story. I'm Randall Carlisle for Buzzfeed. Blake, thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. First and rather obvious question, MIT Modular. What does MIT stand for?
That is Modal Innovation Technologies, and this is all under an Opportunity Zone Fund structure, which has some tax advantages.
Okay, you're a CPA. How long have you been doing this? Tell me a little about your life. And I guess I'm curious, when you were growing up, when your parents said, Blake, what do you want to be when you grow up? Did you say, I want to be an accountant?
Growing up, I did not want to be a CPA. I was good at math, and my mom identified that. And I did have a great uncle who was a CPA and lived on 17 Mile Drive up in the beautiful coastal area of Central California. And so they always said, hey, you could make a good living being a CPA, but it didn't really interest me, and I wanted to be a marine biologist. I grew up surfing in Southern California, and I loved the ocean. And then I found out how little money I would make, and I would be, out on a boat 24 hours a day. So it didn't sound so intriguing. I probably wouldn't get to surf a whole lot. And I told my parents when I went to college, I said, I'll give it a try. I'll take a class. If I don't, I'm dropping it if I don't like it. And it was just natural, so I really enjoyed it.
So here's an interesting question. How do you go from being an accountant by day and then building shipping containers into housing units by night?
So before I moved out here, my office was in Long Beach, and so we're in a high rise looking over the ports. So every day I looked out over tens of thousands of containers. And so when I moved here and found out that there was a housing problem with respect to the lifties that come in for the ski resorts, we have 3,000 come to town just seasonally. And I said, what a great solution. I had seen some of my clients in Europe had converted them to living spaces. And I said, wouldn't that be great, because they're also movable. So we could have them here in the winter, and then when they went away after ski season, we could move them, to the Grand Canyon or to Yosemite or, wherever, and use them for other seasonal activities. So that's really how I came up with the idea.
That'd be a boom for the people who work the ski resorts during the winter, wouldn't it? Because they have trouble finding any place.
Yeah. And so as we built our first prototype, when I would be up on the mountain, I would talk to every liftie and I'd say, hey, because I was trying to find out their price point for rent, and they would respond. They would, when I asked where they lived, they would generally look at their shoes and wouldn't look me in the eye, and they'd say, well, I'm embarrassed, but I live in my car. And so a lot of them lived at the Sinclair station, or they would just park in different neighborhoods, and it was astonishing that that's where they lived. So, and I would say that was the response from about 50%.
All right, let's take a shipping container. I have no vision whatsoever. I see a shipping container, and it's a shipping container. What do you see in a shipping container? What are the uses and applications?
So there's a few things to know. They can be stacked 8 high with a 60,000 pound load in them, and so they're super durable. That's a lot of tonnage on each corner of that container. They can withstand winds up to 180 miles per hour. And they'll last for 20, 30 years with very little maintenance, and beyond that. So and they're plentiful. There's tens of millions throughout the world, and so we're never going to have a shortage of them.
As we all know, the homeless situation is just really exploding around the country. You see it in every city you go through. And it seems to me that what you have as a product could be a possible solution to the homeless situation. What's your vision?
You're dead on. I again, my original going to market was workforce housing, but I always told my partners, I said, the first adopters are going to be for the homeless, and that's what we're seeing. In Los Angeles, they were offering people, homeowners, $70,000 to put a alternative dwelling unit in their backyard, and so they would pay for it, and then they would have to have some low income or homeless person live in there for a couple of years, and then after that it was theirs, and then they could rent it out. And so there's been a huge adoption. When I first started this, there were only 8 counties in the whole country that would allow somebody to live in a shipping container. And now, back to Long Beach in Southern California, just yesterday, they announced that they're not even requiring zoning or plan check. You can, they want you to use shipping containers or modular housing, and they've cut all the red tape out of it. So it's, in the 3 years that we've been kind of rolling this concept out, there's been massive adoption. And it's not because of me, it's just because of the housing crisis has gotten much worse, and the homeless problem has gotten much worse.
Okay, I'm going to get out my little crystal ball here. I want you to look into it and tell me where you think you will be and your company will be 5 years from now.
Well, the demand is just off the charts. So we're really excited to kick off. We're closing on a 19,000 square foot building in Provo next week, and our first attack is going to be for the homeless solution, and Southern California, Utah. I mean, it's all over, and so that's going to be our first market to go after, and then affordable housing, workforce housing. The other part of our business plan, we check all the boxes for ESG. So, we're environmentally friendly. We're recycling containers. We have a fully off-grid system for those people that aren't near utilities. And so we've got solar panels, we've got water tanks, and our designer, Roy Moffas, has been doing this for 15 years, and he's perfected. He's basically builds a thermos out of the container, and a lot other people that work in this area, they don't really have the insulation process down as well as we do, and so these things stay toasty in the winter and they stay cool in the summer, and so that is, I think, our secret sauce in the design phase. Also, we're really excited about this is for entrepreneurs. So, think of a strip mall, and they've got this big parking lot. We can plan a 40, 45, or a 20-foot container out there that could be a coffee shop. It could be a cleaners. It could be like an AM/PM market. It's pretty unlimited, and so it'd be very low cost for them to rent, or they generally wouldn't have the money to buy it. But we could put entrepreneurs into business at a very low cost.
So this is really interesting. But if people are watching and they want to get involved, or they want to help or invest or whatever, how do they do it?
Well, they can check out our website. You can either come work for us or be a customer and buy one. But it's www.mitmodular.com, and that'll tell you all about what we're going to be doing. And the other part of our goal is to make this a workforce training program. And so we want to take, some of these homeless people used to be tradesmen and women, and so they might have worked in construction before. They might have been a drywaller, they might have been a electrician, plumber. We want to put those people to work, and so we're going to be working with cities that were building these for, and bring on some of those people, refine their trades, and hopefully get them to work full time, either for us or somebody else, and get them off the street.